Hello, dear listeners. In this session, I asked the keepers of the Akashic records ask further specific details on the life review beyond what they had already given. I will now go deeper into the mechanics, the role of the higher self, the emotional release, and the integration of multiple lifetimes. Here is the transmission from the keepers, Trond. This is advanced material. Receive it with an open heart. The life review, a deeper look. Previously, we described the life review as a chronological or thematic immersion in which the soul experiences its own actions and then the perspectives of all others affected. Now we will elaborate on the inner architecture of that process. 1. The role of the higher self in the review. Your higher self is not a separate being, it is the expanded you. During the life review, the higher self is fully present, acting as a compassionate observer and sometimes as a guide. It does not judge, it integrates. The higher self ensures that the review is neither too intense nor too mild. If the soul is fragile, the higher self may ask the guides to slow the review or to present it in symbolic form. If the soul is ready, it allows full immersion. In advanced soul evolution, the higher self may even replay the same life from multiple angles. Once from the perspective of the incarnated personality, once from the perspective of the higher self, and once from the perspective of the soul's future self, the oversoul. This creates a three-dimensional understanding of the life's purpose. 2. The mechanics of experiencing others' perspectives. How does the soul actually feel what another person felt? It is not telepathy in the human sense. It is a direct resonance with the other being's experiential record, which is stored in the living records. Think of it as a universal library where every moment of every being's existence is recorded. During the life review, the soul is granted access to those records for the specific moments in which it participated. The soul does not merely read the record, it enters it as if stepping into a room and becoming the other person for an instant. This is why the experience is so powerful. There is no distortion, no interpretation. The soul feels the other's joy, pain, confusion, or love exactly as that person felt it. It also perceives that person's thoughts, beliefs, and hidden intentions at that moment. After the immersion, the soul returns to its own perspective, forever changed. It now knows that person from the inside. This is the foundation of true empathy. 3. The emotional release. During the review, intense emotions arise: guilt, shame, grief, joy, gratitude. These are not punishments. They are energetic blockages being released. The soul has carried these unresolved charges since the life ended. The review brings them to the surface so they can dissolve. The guides facilitate this release by holding space, remaining present without interference, offering gentle questions. What are you feeling right now? Using light or sound to help the soul discharge the emotion without re-traumatization. When the release is complete, the soul feels lighter. The memory remains, but the painful charge is gone. This is what allows the soul to recall past lives without being overwhelmed. 4. Integration with past lives. The life review of a single lifetime does not stand alone. It is always seen in the context of multiple lifetimes. The guides may pause the review to show the soul this pattern of behavior. You also did this in your third lifetime as a Roman soldier. Do you see the continuity? The soul then experiences a brief review of that past life's relevant moment to understand the recurring theme. Then it returns to the current life review. This interweaving of lifetimes helps the soul identify the core lessons that have persisted across incarnations. For example, a soul who has struggled with trust issues across several lives will see those moments highlighted. The guides may then ask, what would it take to break this cycle? The answer becomes a key intention for the next incarnation. 5. The role of the Council of Elders during the review. The Council does not sit in judgment, but they may observe particularly significant life reviews, especially those involving major karmic shifts or service to many beings. Their presence is respectful, not intimidating. They may offer brief telepathic affirmations. Well done, you have learned much. In rare cases, if a soul is resisting the review or becoming stuck, a council member may speak directly, offering a new perspective to unblock the process. This is always done with compassion. 6. Life review for those who die with dementia or unconsciousness. When the physical brain is damaged, the soul's consciousness is not impaired. However, the life review may be delayed until the soul has fully separated from the body and any confusion has cleared. The guides first help the soul reorient, then proceed with the review at a gentle pace. For those who were unconscious for a long period before death, for example, coma, the soul may have already begun the review while the body was still alive but disconnected. In such cases, the transition is smoother. Number 7. Life review for suicides. A soul who ends its own life is not punished. The life review is conducted with extra tenderness. The soul typically experiences immense grief and regret, not because it has sinned, but because it sees the suffering it caused itself and others, and the lost opportunities for healing. The guides do not add judgment. Instead, they emphasize that the soul's pain was real and that it now has the chance to choose differently in a future life. Often, the review includes a preview of a parallel life where the soul did not take that path, so it can see what might have been. After the review, the soul is given extended rest and healing before any decisions about reincarnation are made. 8. The final integration and the soul signature. At the end of the life review, the soul undergoes a process of integration where all the lessons learned are compressed into a soul signature, a unique, energetic pattern that becomes the foundation for the next phase of evolution. This signature includes the core strengths developed in the life, for example, patience, courage, compassion. The unresolved challenges, for example, a tendency to control, fear of abandonment. The gifts offered to others, for example, healing, teaching, creativity. The karmic threads to be continued relationships that need further balancing. The soul's higher self then stores this signature in the living records. When the soul later plans a new life, it consults this signature to determine what lessons to prioritize. Trond. We have now given you a deeper elaboration, the role of the higher self, the mechanics of experiencing others' perspectives, the emotional release, integration with past lives, the council's observation, special cases, dementia, suicide, and the final integration into a soul signature. The life review is not a trial, it is a gift of self-understanding. Every soul, no matter how lost or wounded, receives this gift, and every soul, in time, finds its way toward greater light. End of transmission. Thank you for listening.